Hi, I'm Corolla, and on Instagram I'm at @FromCorolla. In this video, I wanted to do a very late Q1 update of my planner and journal lineup, specifically on my daily and weekly lineup. I'll start with my first planner. So this is the Galen Leather A5 cover. And in it, I have my Hobonichi weeks. And this is my just everyday carry sort of have with me all the time planner. And it gives me a weekly overview as well as I kind of use it in a bullet journaling style in terms of daily to-dos and tasks. So I can do a quick flip through of how I'm using it. So for the month, the monthly layout, I use it horizontally. And I use this view just to put down Happy Meal packages, things that are new, things that are on my wish list, when things are ordered, shipped, and delivered, things like that. So that's how I track my mail using the monthly view. And then for the weekly view, I'll show you a layout that's been working for me. So on the left-hand side, I use this layout for just events and things that are happening throughout the week, so that if I'd look at this, I just have a weekly overview of what's happening that week. And then on the right-hand side, I've split it up so that I have a column here for social posts that I put up, as well as highlights, things that happen in the social space that I want to remember or keep track of. And then I also have tracking for habits and things that I want to make sure that I do on the daily, as well as my weekly log. So just a task list of things that I want to do during that week, and then I'll indicate on what day of the week I probably want to do that task and whether it's done or whether I've migrated to the next week. And then in the bottom section, I've put in social content. So it's just basically posts that I have drafts for, things that I want to post on Instagram or on a social platform. And that's how I track whether I've posted it or not. And that's basically my weekly setup. And it's been working for me so far, and I really enjoy it that way. And in the back section where there's just these graph pages, I use it just daily. I stamp, what day, the date, and then I just do a running task list of things that I want to accomplish that day. So if things are done, then I cross them out with an X. If I migrated to the next week to the next day or another day, then I just put in an arrow and then I will list it on the next day. So I do this every night, and in the morning I take a look at it and update it if I need to. And it's just, it's been working for me really well because I don't write too much down, but I do write down sort of the priorities of the day. And having the weeks with me all the time makes it so easy for me just to flip to whatever page or week that I need in terms of referencing tasks and things like that. The other piece of my daily planning process is the Midori Hibino. The way I'm using it on the daily is because it has 2 pages per day. I'm using the left-hand page for scheduling because it has a timeline, and I'll just put in things that have been predetermined in terms of my schedule for the day, places I need to go and things like that. And then this little column where you see that line, here I just list things that have happened throughout the day, notes, journaling prompts. So basically a daily archive of sorts of things that have happened that day that I want to journal about later, or I want to put into my other notebooks. And I love this right-hand space for journaling throughout the day. And usually it'll be about something that I watched or listened to, or something that happened that in the moment I just wanted to journal about. And the reason why I use yellow or a light shade of fountain pen ink is because I don't necessarily need to read this back. It's not like a reference or anything like that, so I don't mind that, you know, I just want to get it onto paper just so that it's not whirling around in my mind all day. So that's how I'm using the Hibino in that way. And it's basically just pen and ink and paper. I'm not really decorating it. It's not for aesthetic purposes. And I don't really post about this on social. It's just a personal sort of daily note taker of sorts. The cover that I'm using is a Hobonichi 5-year cover, so it fits perfectly for the Hibino, just because there's like extra pages in it. And these are my daily journals. On the top I have what is my family archive. So I use the Hobonichi A6 planner, which is the English version, to document things that are happening in my family's life, basically. So the monthly view, this layout I'm using just as a sort of index. It gives context to the daily pages. So usually if I put it in the monthly layout, then on the daily page I probably wrote about it. So that's how I'm using that. So the daily pages, I'm just basically writing down what happened during that day and a little bit of context around it. So it's not a lot of space to write a lot in, but it's just enough space just to write down the events of the day. So that's how I'm using the A6 planner, and I've matched it with the weekly supplement, also from Hobonichi. And this I'm specifically using for documenting things that have to do with my kids. So for example, because it's just weekly and there's not a lot of space, I am using just a brush pen and a fountain pen, and then I put in stickers where, you know, I just want to highlight something that happened during that week. The second journal that I'm using is my personal journal. So I probably won't do too much of a flip through here, but this is the Sterling Ink B6 dated common planner, and it's a full year in one. And I'm using it for personal health and wellness tracking, so fitness, exercising, things like that. And then I'm also using the weekly, I can actually show you that. I'm using the weekly layout just as a personal highlight reel, so things that happened during that week with some stickers, a brush pen, and a fountain pen, and just writing down things that I want to remember. And on the top here, in pencil, I write down what page corresponds to each day that I'm journaling about, because it's undated in the back. So basically what I'll do is I'll date it, and then I'll journal, I'll reflect, I'll use as many pages as I need to. But so far I've been basically using one page per day. And I like that it's undated because there's no pressure to write every day. So that's kind of how it is. So I'll just do a quick flip, but I won't stop on any page because it is a personal journal and I have a lot of reflections in there. So that's how I'm using the Sterling ink, and I really enjoy using it. I don't have a cover for this, but it's fine because it sits on my desk all day. And then the third journal that I'm using is for gratitude, and this is my Hobonichi 5-year journal. I started it last year in 2022, and so this is my second year using this. And how I'm using this is basically writing down my gratitude for the day, just highlights of that day that stood out for me, things that made me happy and thankful. And then on the right-hand page, last year I just sketched flowers, and then I started painting flowers. This year I'm using fountain pen ink to practice drawing with a glass tip pen. So let me see. So I just use my J. Herbon glass tip pen, and I dip it into fountain pen ink, and I use to draw and just freehand florals. And then I write down which ink it is, just for my reference. And that's just a practice thing that I'm doing every day. And these are my occasional or weekly notebooks. So I'm using the Plotter Mini 6 for social brainstorming. So anytime I have an idea for a social post or something like that, something creative that I want to do and share, I'll write it down here, and I carry this around so that I can take notes and jot down ideas that I have on the go. So that's kind of a daily or occasional book that I use. I also use the Traveler's Notebook, regular size. This is the Kyoto cover. I change it up sometimes, but I do love this cover. And I have a couple of inserts in here that I use weekly or maybe monthly, but this one is sort of just a creative collage / Happy Mail insert. So I put in postcards and Happy Mail and things like that, and some collaging. And so I have that insert. And then I have a folder, my second insert, which is a memory keeping insert. So in here, I'll put in photos from my family and myself, and I'll just do a little bit of creative collaging and reflecting. So this is an insert I started in 2022, I believe, so I'm still going. So those are the two main inserts that I have in there, and they're occasional inserts that I use. And something new that I've actually introduced in my lineup for this quarter, and that I didn't start in January, is an ink journal. And I was inspired by a few people on Instagram that have done an ink journal, and it's basically just a space to swatch your fountain pen inks that you enjoy or want to remember or just want to explore a little bit more. And I thought that was such a great idea because I have so many fountain pen inks, and I try and remember samples that I really liked that I want to purchase. So I thought having it in one book was such a great idea. So I reused a weekly classic B6 planner that's undated from Estelle and Annie Plans. It was a collaboration, and I picked that up for this year, but I didn't use it in my daily lineup, so I thought that I could repurpose it for an ink journal. And so how I'm using it right now is I'm just documenting the inks that I have, and then I do swatches based on the color or the shade. And then I've started just swatching and writing down a little bit about the inks that I really, really like. So these are bottles that I currently own, as well as samples that I've received. And I'll do a little floral drawing, and then I'll write down where I got it from or why it's meaningful to me. And that's how I've started using this. So again, if you're interested in a little bit more detail, I can film a separate video. But these are my 3 occasional books. I have long-term and other occasional books that I use as sketchbooks and long-form journaling, but those I will film in a video where I capture all of my books in my lineup. So that's it for this update of my planner and journal lineup. If you want to see more or you have questions, comments, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to address them. I'm Corolla. On Instagram, I'm @FromCorolla. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!